I think that it adds an extra wrinkle. And so if you are going for larger deals, it's very likely that you'll need to do something like that to have access to some cash to compete with the other people.
Have you ever, what are your thoughts about raising funds? Have you ever, gone to angels or PE and raised funds for a larger deal? I imagine that would, take a lot of work, but any
I
thoughts about
have,
actually raising money? Yeah.
yeah, I have, and it does. And we do have a 4-week program that we put together with Nate Dodson, who's raised billions of dollars on doing that. I think that it adds an extra wrinkle. And so if you are going for larger deals, it's very likely that you'll need to do something like that to have access to some cash to compete with the other people. My experience is mixed with it. I've had fairly large deals fall out because of like a family office that had committed one time to a pretty large deal, backed out at the last minute. Despite the fact that they committed, we replaced them with a large multi-billion-dollar private equity fund, but it poisoned the well enough that the 30 days or so longer it was going to take to close the deal spooked the seller's representative, which was an investment bank, and they kind of torpedoed the deal. It ended up selling for less than we offered. So it wasn't, in my mind, a good decision that they made. But there's a lot of ego that takes place in that investment banking world that isn't as present in the you're dealing with the principals without representatives like that world. We also,
Okay.
though, in a
Yeah.
relatively small deal recently, I don't remember, Deanna, if you remember how much it was, the fireplace company, but like the lawyer came in, it was all worked out. And they brought a lawyer in after everything was agreed to, because we said, you got to get a lawyer just to represent you on the documentation side. And he completely tried to redo the deal and it went away, for now. It'll come back, I bet. But so it happens at all levels from time to time. But the raising money wrinkle is an additional wrinkle that then brings in other parties and typically is going to be challenging control wise for you. I've got all the data to do it, but there's a thing called sponsors where you effectively bring deals to private equity funds and things like that. And it's a joint venture kind of thing. And as I recall, across a whole swath of several hundred deals, those people ended up with between 20 and 30% of the deal that were the sponsor. And then the private equity group ends up with the lion's share of the rest. But there's a lot of covenants and restrictions and things that can be in deals like that. So it's just, I do one without it first. And then once you do that, do you want to go through that? I mean, it's certainly a great experience to have, whether it's a positive or negative experience, no matter what. So, I do think it's a good experience to have in your quiver of things you've done. I have chosen that generally I do not want to have to deal with those people.